It's not quite a sample queen. It's an indie brand review, but there's samples in it, and I no longer have a crown. So hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. If this coffee cup, if this look all looks familiar, it should. They went up on a bonus video recently, hopefully recently, the end of January. So however recent that is. The coffee mug is the You Can Call Me Queen coffee mug that I usually use with my sample queen stuff. And the look is almost all what we're going to be talking about today. In our coffee mug is the Cederbos, the Rooibos Tea Company, organic Rooibos tea in the maple walnut. We have double bagged it because we have an extra large mug. Let's go ahead and give her a sip. We already know we like it. Give it a sip and we will get started and get through this because I am already late. That maple is strengthening up a little bit. I think I'm glad I double bagged it. I can really get the flavor. All right, so today I am going to be reviewing items from the YC Collection brand. I have to say that this brand really surprised me. I initially got a palette and, well, I should say, I initially got their powder in an Ipsy bag, a little one, and I loved the powder, and I think I've mentioned that before. I'm going to talk about it again today, but I think I've mentioned that before. So then I went to the site and I ended up ordering their foundation and their one of their palettes. They have two of them. The palette I have is the one I like because it's colorful. The other one is a bit more neutral, but it does have some really pretty dark colors. It has been tempting me, I will tell you that. I'm being good, but anyway, so I ordered those. I have already reviewed the foundation at one point, but again, we're going to talk about it again. And I have been, when I first got the palette, it's one of those that I just couldn't let go. And then I recently went in and I ordered I've been looking for a brow pomade. I want to get away from the pencils because the pencils tend to be more expensive per ounce than the pomades. That and the way ColourPop is, those are the pencils I use. The way ColourPop has been with their fast makeup, fast clothing version of makeup, and not really paying attention to backstock has been really annoying, so I want to get away from using the ColourPop pencils. And when I bought that, I also ordered a bronzer, I think it was the bronzer or the contour, and a highlighter, and they sent on a little sample. So we're going to talk about all of these items now. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is this itty bitty sample of their primer, which name is now escaping me. It was included in the Ipsy bag this month. Hold, please. So the primer is called Let Me First. They sent this little itty bitty sample. And it is this pale, pinky kind of color. It is a little bit on the thick side, not hugely thick. It's not like you're going to have to be rubbing it down on your face or anything. But it was kind of a surprise. I will say I was skeptical. It does claim to be a mattifier. I haven't quite noticed it doing that for me, which in my case is not bad. My cheeks are already dry. I don't need them mattified. And the rest of my skin tends to be really normal right now, except for my nose, which is just a touch oily. In the summer, I might try this again in the summer and see if it helps, because I get really oily on my nose in the summer. So mattifying, I haven't noticed much, but then I'm not in a position where it has to fight my skin that much. But mattifiers do tend to make me look dry, and this one doesn't. I used in a very tiny amount. It spread really nicely. I use a brush, specific brush actually. I use this, who are you? Eco Tools brush, like this. It's very densely packed. I use this to apply my primers, all my primers. And it spread out really nicely. It felt really good on my skin. My skin felt soft and smooth. My pores around my nose area, which is where they're worst, did look a little smaller, but I cannot say I have a couple that are probably beyond help from anyone, so I don't even try. I have like one that's like a crater, so I don't even try. But they did look better overall. So far, it has worked really well with both my Uoma and, of course, its own foundation, the same brand's foundation. With my misters, I use the NYX matte setting spray, and then I use either the Pixie or I use Mario Badescu. I have also been playing around with the Air Repair, mostly because this is perfume water. But with my misters, it didn't make the foundation look particularly arid. It wasn't really arid before, honestly, but I use these to, because the powders and stuff can sometimes end up making my chin and my nose and my under my eyes look really kind of dry. It can bring out all that texture. I use the misters to kind of give me a much more, not oily, but more dewy kind of look, because once I set with this, everything is supposed to dry down kind of matte, and I don't like that look on me. I don't like a matte look on me. I might consider trying in the summer, like I said, when my skin is oilier. I will say I'm actually currently trying to reduce or get rid of actual primers. I am currently using mostly the Good Molecule silicone-free priming moisturizer. So if the primer is in the moisturizer, that is something that I've been trying to do, kind of combine those. This one is only $16. I love the YC prices, I have to say that. This one is only about $16, and it's something that I think I would give a try in the summer and see how it works for me then. If it actually doesn't do anything for my nose, then I think after that I probably wouldn't repurchase it. But for right now, it's I'm wearing all this stuff that you're going to see today. So I'm wearing this under my foundation. I think it did a fairly decent job. I don't think it's got the "you will stick to me forever" kind of stickative. Your skin is too soft for that. It doesn't feel like there's any kind of stickiness to it for the foundation to cling to. But that said, I did enjoy it. I do like it. So I think I will give it a shot in the summer and then see where it goes from there. Did I mumble on that enough for you guys? I'm terrible. All right, so we're kind of going in order here. I always put my primer on, then I spray on my setting spray, and then I go into my eyes, which brings me to the YC Zahara. I don't know if I've actually reviewed this or mentioned this before. I picked up this palette. Like I said, I picked up the powder again. I picked up a big version of the powder when I ran out of the one that I have from Ipsy. And when I did, I also picked up this at the same time. This is the color scheme. It's beautiful. There's enough colors in here that are colorful, and I really appreciate that the neutrals they have, there's not a lot of them. The other palette they have is more neutrals than this one. Anyway, this was one of those palettes that I just didn't want to stop using for the longest time after I got it. It is highly pigmented. Fallout, does have fallout, but not a lot. It's buildable and blendable. The mattes in particular are a bit powdery, but they apply well. Even the yellows and the lighter colors all come on my skin really nicely. Ooh, you got some pink on you for some reason. But yeah, that shows up enough that I can put it down under my skin or under my brow. And this has a second color on it. It has some of this pink on it. And yes, I've worn that pink as well. The reds do apply lighter than in the pan. So for this look, I did use the red on the outer corner, but then I used a little bit of the Melt Cheese and Party on this outer corner because I wanted a darker red. I have a darker red shirt. But this is a common problem with like reds and purples. They seem to apply lighter than what they look like in the pan. So there's that one, and there's that one. They look very similar on my finger, but You can see that they're pigmented. This one is more of an orange tone, and that's more of a blue tone, although they're otherwise very similar in shade, but lets you pick whichever one you want, warm or cool. It also doesn't hold up as well as some brands to my inner corners. You all know I have problems with that. That is also pretty standard for makeup for me. Most brands do not hold up to my inner corner. I have found that using glitter glue, if I'm having a lot of issues with the particular shadow, I have found using glitter glue helps with that. They are also a bit brush fussy. And what I mean by that is you will get... fluffier brushes give you much more diffused color. So when I initially did this look, this blue came out much lighter than what it is appearing now, because I was initially using a fluffier brush when I went and did some repair work, because I almost always have to do some repair work before I get started on filming. I used a firmer brush, and that color came up much better. So, but I think that is something that would also, you would think that that was something that's also fairly standard among cosmetics, is that those fluffier brushes are just going to give you a much more diffused color appearance. It's just on these, it can look like they're not pigmented when they are. And so let's take a look at this look. You can see, like I said, I could not stop using this when I first got it, but here's the look. Hopefully I'm not losing too much in my corners. I do have a bit of that brown in the crease. I did try to use as many colors as possible so you could see variations of the colors. Hopefully my eye over here isn't being too much of a punk. It was being a punk earlier. So you can see that the greens and the reds and the blues, they're all doing their thing, and they're working out fairly well. I will admit that this is not a favorite look, but I think part of that is because I was trying to use as many colors as possible so you guys could see the different shades in the palette, rather than me muddying up with some other palette shades. So anyway, I do recommend this. This was like about $25. They have a second one that's darker and more neutral, also $25. I would expect that the pigmentation is about the same. So next, I'm going to talk about the YC Collection Stay Natural Foundation. This is in the shade ST145. There's the packaging. It does come in a pump, which I prefer. I've gotten a few lately that have had doe foots. I hate doe foots. I'm sorry. I hate doe foots. I have found ways around working with the doe foot, but I hate doe foots. Anyway, I've had a few issues with my pump, but there we go. She's actually behaving right now, which is a good thing. There's the shade. It does oxidize a little bit. This one is a tad on the peachy side, at least on my arm, at least on my hand, but it does match like my chest very well, or my forehead really well. I still think this is a really nice foundation. I did cover it more fully in a foundation hunt. It has a really nice finish. It's on the matter side of satin, so it's kind of satin, but more matte than satin. Mixes with my Vichy very well. It's light to no weight. Dries down quickly. Doesn't emphasize my texture. There are exceptions to that rule. The match is beautiful. It has 38 shades to choose from. The price tag is really decent. It's $19, which is really good for a foundation that's, it's on the upper end of drugstore, lower end of going into the mid-range brands. It's nice that it's not $39 or $45 or $54. I have a daughter that likes a $54 foundation. It doesn't hold up to my eyes, but not much does, except the NYX Born to Glow foundation. And I can buff it out as needed, as the watery eyes kind of, creates tracks in there, and it buffs out really nicely. It also gets a heavier feeling mixed with other foundations, even lightweight ones like my Uoma, which I am wearing it with. I put down like 2 or 3 pumps of this, and then about a half a pump of the Uoma in it, and also the Vichy's mixed in. And I think it's a very beautiful foundation. It looks nice to me. I am having some issues with some texture showing up in here, but again, that could be because it got mixed with the Uoma, which actually does not mix well with a whole lot of foundations I found. My daughter is mixing it with the Becca Shimmer something or other, and hers looked really nice on hers when she had it. So I don't know if she's going to continue buying it. I'm talking about the Uoma. I don't know if she's going to continue buying it because the Uoma is very liquid. As you can see, this one is quite thick, and she did that mixing to thicken it up a little bit. But anyway, getting back to this baby. If it weren't for the Uoma, I'd probably use it more, which is true. It's been sitting up here waiting for me to use it. I did get it. I don't have a sticker on you. Must have been before I had the sticker, so it's probably getting close to a year, and it does have the little thingy on it, which is 12 months, so I probably need to try to use this more. I will say, with the Uoma, it's really hard to compete with that. But if I had no idea about it, I would be using this one more frequently, I think. It's a beautiful, beautiful, as you can see, it's drying down. It's actually starting to blend better. It is a little bit more orangey. It has darkened up a bit. It does fit. It does fit my chest. Anyway, you can't see that. I'm like, it does fit my chest. You can see that. It fits my chest. But yes, it is another foundation I do recommend. It, like I said, it's on the satin side. It's a very, very beautiful foundation. I do highly recommend it. It's just, I recommend the one more. I'm sorry, YC. The brand overall, however, foundation or not, it's not their fault. The brand overall, like I said, has just been a very pleasant brand to use, not to work with. They're not sending me anything, but to use. It's been a very, very nice brand to work with. All right, so next is their powder. Like before, like I said, this is a favorite powder. I would be using it every day if I wasn't trying to use something else up. I do intend to buy it again. It's become my favorite. It has a nice mill. It never looks dry or cakey. It doesn't change the look of the foundation. The upper drugstore price, I believe this is $13, is a bonus. It's honestly, it's a beautiful foundation. I wore it again. It's on my skin today. But I'm going to grab my brush. And we're going to go pat, 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 pat. You can see it mattified it down, but it doesn't change the way that foundation is working. It doesn't make it cakier, it doesn't make it drier, and it's like that on every foundation I use it on. It has not, I've not had a single foundation have problems with this, ever. So this one is one that I'm going to keep repurchasing. I highly recommend it. As I noted, I've also been looking into getting a pomade because I'm trying to move away from pencils, which are more expensive, and ColourPop pencils in particular, because ColourPop has become unreliable in terms of restocking. And there's been a few other issues with them, but we'll just go with that. And YC Collection, this is new for them, I believe. It's their pomade like this. And when I first opened this up, I'm going to hold it like this so you don't see what I've used. But when I first opened this up, I thought, oh, that looks really, really freaking dry. And then I used it on my brow and went, I really did. I was like, what the? Look at that. It's so nice. It really is. It's soft, it's creamy, it's smooth. It applies, obviously it applies easily. It is pigmented, so much so that the first time I used it, really, I had to remove some of it. I had to get a brow brush and get in there and try to get some of it off, because it was like, whoa, okay, we didn't need to have brows like that. Thank you very much. It was really, really unexpected. I really like it. Comes in 7 shades. It's $13 and will last longer than a pencil, especially since you don't need to use much. You can go very light-handed with this. I had tried some other pomades before this. They were drugstore and they just did not impress me. So I'm really glad to have this one. I'm sure it's going to last me a little while. Again, it has a little thingy on it at 12 months, and I put my little sticker on this one. But another one I highly recommend if you're looking for a really nice creamy smooth pomade. I really recommend this, especially if you're in that point where, like, say you like who is it, Anastasia Beverly Hills, but you're trying to save a little money. Give these guys a try. I honestly, that's nice. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice. It's beautiful. And this is dark brown. I usually have to get like soft black to match really well. But this one at the dark brown worked very well. And the soft black for some places can be a little too dark, a little too scary. But like I said, they have 7 shades. They did have an auburn in there. It didn't look horribly red, but not being a redhead, I couldn't tell you if it's a shade, and it could have been my phone. I've had stuff that I've looked at. It could have been my phone or my computer. I've had stuff that I looked at that I went, oh, wait a minute. That came in not looking anything like I expected it to. So if you have red hair and you want to give it a try, you know, let us know down below if you give it a try that whether or not it actually works for redheads. An auburn. All right, so the other 2 things. First of, I bought the contour bronzer, whatever. What's nice about this bronzer is while it leans warm. So if you look at it, she leans just a little bit warm, which is fine. It's really a nice tone for a neutral undertone like mine. This is particularly apparent in the winter. In the summer, my skin gets warmer, which is very common for olive toned skin. So this is a really, really nice surprise. It really, really is. It really was. Just nice to have one that's actually kind of on the warmer side, but not so warm that you're going, oh, I've just warmed up my entire face with this. Some of that's a blush, so don't even. It's pigmented, it's soft, it's easy to apply and blend. It's priced at $11. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because, you know, it's like a bronzer. But there, you can see that. Beautiful. The one downside to both this and the bronzer they have, the contour, so this is their bronzer in Caramelo. They have a contour shade as well. They have one of each. So they obviously really need to expand the shade range on these. Go a little bit lighter for lighter skin, go darker for darker skin. But I can see them trying to see if they're using something for a mid-range, mid-tone, because I'm in the middle. I'm so beige. I'm in the middle. A mid-skin tone range person. I could see them using one shade to see if people are interested in it. But I really do hope that they expand and do more shades for both of them. I did want to try a blush, but the only blushes they had were liquid. I don't use liquid. So I'm kind of hoping they will also expand that and get some powdered blushes for those of us who don't like liquid blushes and stuff. But again, if you're in the mid-beigey range, I recommend this as well. And I'm sure that their contour is just as good. I mean, contour and bronzer are pretty close to the same thing anyway. They're, you know, they're powder face products. So I can't imagine that the formula is all that different or anything. So you could technically say in the two, they have 2 shades. I haven't tried the other one. Obviously, I got this one. But yeah, they need to expand their line on this. These are really nice. I also have to say, I like the packaging on these. The palette is cardboard, but it's a very sturdy cardboard. It includes a mirror. This is a really nice plastic. This is also a nice plastic rather than glass. I'm sure some people would rather it be glass. At least I think it's plastic. It's really heavy. It might be glass. But I do like the packaging on these. It's very sturdy and it looks very professional. All right, so the last thing I picked up was the highlighter. Also wearing that today. This is Light in the Dark Highlight. And this is in the color, I know I have a color somewhere. Vintage, spelled V-I-N-T-A-J-E. So not your usual vintage. This is a beautiful glow. It's not to the moon, but I have found it is somewhat buildable. I just don't go that high. As you can see, I've got a nice shine there. It's just, I don't think it can get kind of bright. Does not emphasize my texture, which is really nice because I do like to apply sometimes. This is heavier so that I can make sure that you guys can see it. And a lot of times when I apply highlighter heavily, this area in here in particular starts looking very textured. And this does not do that to me. The shade I purchased is really suitable for me in skin tone, but now I want some of their other shades. I do believe that this is another one that's in that, you know, $11 to to $13 range. It is a gorgeous highlighter. It's beautiful. I love the little YC wave on there. I don't know if you can see that. Let me open that up. Their little thing on there. I feel bad messing around. I keep doing all my stuff from this corner because I don't want to mess it up too much, and I'm already messing up the C. But here we go with this. She's pretty. She works really well for me on days when I just want a nice, just a nice glow rather than, you know, I don't want pink and I don't want purple or any of that stuff. I just want a nice, almost a natural glow because it goes with my skin so well. Anyway, so this brand, I've really enjoyed using it. I really, really have. I've not found anything that I dislike. There are things I'd like to see improved, like, you know, shade range. But beyond that, I've enjoyed everything I've tried from this brand so far. And I keep going back to look for other things. I'm not going to be picking up their concealer, which is brand new, I think, because I'm actually trying to phase out concealer. But I've really enjoyed everything that I have tried. So they're a really nice brand. The thing about them is once I put all this stuff away, I will actually, it's kind of weird, I'll actually end up ignoring them for a while. And then when I pick them back up, I'm like, why have I not been using this? Every time, because it is a very nice brand. I really enjoy it. I would really love to see these guys get into Ulta. I honestly would. I would really enjoy being able to pick them up with a lot of my Ulta orders. That would save me a little bit on shipping here and there. But yeah, I'd love to see them in Ulta. I have been enjoying everything. So yeah, I highly recommend them as a brand. I really, if, you know, foundations are going to be hit and miss depending on your skin type and all that stuff. But the powder is beautiful. Like I said, I've used it with several different foundations and never had a problem. If you're middle skin tone, the bronzer is beautiful. I'm really, really impressed with the brow gel. I love the highlighter. I love the palette. So yeah, I highly recommend them if you're into wanting to try something new and different, or a new and different brand, and you're just looking to, you know, expand your brand experience, I guess. They've got like 5 different shades of the highlighter. There's a pink one, there's a gold one, there's a couple of others. So again, highly recommend the whole thing. How many times can I say highly recommend? Anyway, so that is it for the day, and I hope you like what you've seen. And if you do like what you've seen and you're not yet subscribed, we hope that you subscribe. When you subscribe, please hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. I currently upload 2 days a week. That would be Monday and Thursday. However, we do have bonus videos. I open indie brands. Should have done one recently, like at the end of January. Should have done one at the beginning of January, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure I opened something. Several of them. But we do open indie brands. My son has a geeky type box. His first box, if it's not posted yet, should be posted soon. It's supposed to be shipping right around the time I'm filming. This will be going up probably in February, but you know, I'm filming at the end of January. Should be going up soon, so all his fans can see him. And if you send anything, that goes up as a bonus video as well. If you're interested in any of those, you will need to have that button clicked because they do not go up on regular upload days. If you're part of my notification squad, please check both your bell and your subscription to make sure they're both still active. And if you choose not to subscribe, well, I'd be sad and lonely. I'd be unhappy. I'd be depressed. Actually, I wouldn't. I understand. But a girl really, really could use some help. I'm telling you guys. Really could. So I really would appreciate a subscription. However, you don't, I get it. So much YouTube out there. And you are always welcome back here again. And when you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. All right. So we've been sitting here for a bit. It has literally cooled down to about lukewarm. Going to give her a sip, and then we will be on our way. That is so interesting. I think I mentioned this the first time I tried it. When this tea cools off, the maple flavor fades a bit. The fact that I double bagged it, I get more of the walnut now. It's very earthy, and the maple is more of a background kind of flavor, but they do meld. They are melding. They're blended. It's not like, oh, there's walnut and oh, there's maple. They're very well blended and melded. It's just interesting how that maple comes out really well when it's hot and then fades down when it cools off a bit. It's a nice tea. Anyway, that is it. Hope you have a good one. Bye.